Located in Central California's Sequoia country, Exeter is a charming historic agricultural community and gateway community destination for Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, Giant Sequoia National Monument, and Sequoia National Forest. And its historic downtown makes for a great day of shopping, eating, a little wine, a little fun, and touring their incredible collection of murals. I mean, the whole downtown is decorated with murals sharing the history, the natural aspects of not only the town but the region. I mean, you're in the backyard of Sequoia National Park. I mean, really, it's really easy to stay there and just go take a trip to the park. And we always love to showcase communities like Exeter, and it's just beautiful. And springtime is coming up, and you can smell the scent of oranges and the orange blossoms, I should say. It's just such a charming, charming place. And we're excited today on Big Blend Radio. We have 3 special guests joining us who are going to answer 10 questions to give us travelers the local insider scoop on what it's like to live there, what it's like to work there, and play in Exeter. Plus, at the end of our segment, Steve Schneikert has got a special Hollywood history of Exeter. And as I said at the beginning of the show today, that is way back when, from 2013, I think our second visit there. And so we'll air that at the end.
Cool.
All right, so let's start with Sandy Blankenship. Sandy is on our shows, I've met every month or 2 months. She is the Executive Director of the Exeter Chamber of Commerce and the President of the Sequoia Tourism Council. You can go to exeterchamber.com. That is your main porthole for finding out all about the community, the events that are happening, and where you can, the mural tour, everything is there. If you go there, go visit the office because you can also meet Walter. Walter is the town mascot. He's a rescued kitten. He's a naughty little boy, or maybe he's a handsome man now. But welcome back, Sandy. How are you?
I am good. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We miss you. It's like every time we go, like we look at this, and I'm posting photos of murals on Exeter on Instagram. I'm like, we need to go back. We need to go back. We're missing you guys. I know. This year it's 2018. I think it's going to have to be in the books for this year for sure. But how is Mr. Walter doing? I mean, he's not a young kitten anymore.
No, he's pushing 6 or 7. We have to always do the math when we try to figure out how old he is. But he's still quite a handful, but he still loves everybody that walks in the door, whether they like him or not. He's got to greet them. So he's a really great ambassador for our community and for our office.
He's the dude.
He is the dude.
He is the dude. So, when I talk about you being in Sequoia, the Sequoia National Park's backyard, or you're, both, you could be in Sequoia, like, hey, let's go to our backyard is Exeter, and Exeter, the Sequoia National Park's your backyard. But how far are you from major cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco so people can understand, especially if they're flying in, how far you are from there, or how close you are, I should say?
Well, we're in Central California, which makes us easily access to the Bay Area and to Los Angeles. We're probably 3-4 hours from the Bay Area, and depending on where you're going in the Los Angeles area, probably it could be a little more or less the same amount of time. So we're kind of right in the middle of the state, which makes us very convenient.
And you're close to Vegas.
Well, kinda.
I'm just saying.
6-7 hours away.
Well, that's nothing.
No, it's really not too bad. No, or you can hop a plane for about an hour and 15 minutes or so, and you can be there.
No, see, it's not too bad. That's not too bad. I want to bring our next special guest on. She is the mayor of Exeter, Madam Mayor Teresa Boyce, and she is also the senior credit assistant of the Bank of the Sierra. Now, if you're going to bank somewhere, don't you want that kind of name, the Sierra?
I know, right?
I know. It's got some mountain magic. Maybe your money will grow as big as sequoia trees. The world's largest living thing by volume. I'd like that in my bank account. Anyway, welcome, Mayor. Madam Mayor, how are you?
Thank you. I'm doing very well, thanks. And I'm just proud to be here today.
Well, we're excited. I heard that like last year was your 25th anniversary of working at the Bank of the Sierra. So that is that's an accomplishment when you think about it. Like that's a long time to be in one working zone. And then you decided to be mayor. And I heard that people were knocking on your door to be mayor a long time ago, and then finally said, "Okay, I will." Like, what was it that said, "Oh, I'll do it"?
Well, I became a grandma, and I decided that I was fine with just being on the city council and let others be the mayor. And then I decided when I became a grandma that, yes, I can do this. And my granddaughter can say, yes, when I was little, my grandma was the mayor.
That's cool.
I know, because I was going to say, is it mayoress? Like, it's interesting because not many towns have lady mayors, and I'm seeing the last 5 years more and more women take up that role. So is that part of your decision making also? Is like, hey, look at what your make sure that things are the way you want them for your grandchild too, and for the community, but also looking at women being in that position.
Yes, I am the third woman mayor of town here. Our first mayor was back in the 70s, and then just before my term, Robin Stearns was our mayor.
Mm-hmm.
So I am the third female mayor.
That's awesome. And I remember Robin Stearns being on our show too.
Yes.
Sandy, she was on our show, a couple years ago, a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
She was cool. I remember having a good time with her on the show. Sandy, how long have you been at the chamber now as the executive director? Because I know you're also on the board. It's kind of the similar story, right? As Mayor Teresa here.
This weekend, I think on the 21st, I believe, is when I started back in 1991. So I'm starting my 27th year with the chamber.
Wow! Right on.
You.
You rock, Sandy. She does. She's cool. So are you going to go to the Stag and have a cocktail on the 21st? I'm just going to ask.
Well, that's
on
a
Monet?
Sunday, probably not. But of course, I love what I do, and this town makes it so easy for me to promote it and tell people about it because I love it. It's home.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful town, and everyone's so friendly, and everyone, you've got to go there. I'm going to bring our next guest, Ben Garcia, on. He's the manager of Exeter Hobbies, where you can go have a super cool time playing with little race cars, and you can race, and they have all kinds of cool events. Go to exeterhobbies.com. I'm telling you, this is one of the things too. When you go downtown in Exeter, us ladies like to go shopping. They got plenty of shopping, little coffee places and sandwich places, and go look at the murals. But I know the guys want to go hang out at Exeter Hobbies. Is that the truth, Ben? And welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me. Yeah, it sounds about right. All the women, I've had several occasions when I've had a party booked, and all the women walk in with the kids, and then here comes their husbands, and then they disappear for about an hour or two, and then I'm stuck with the kids and the husbands, which is great. The atmosphere downtown is great for anyone. It's a very family-oriented community. I really enjoy it here. I've enjoyed it since day one when I first walked down the street.
That's awesome.
It's true, walking down the streets. Sometimes because we travel a lot, you go in and out of places, and sometimes you feel a little nervous. I've never felt that in Exeter. It's just so kind and pretty, and you just feel like you want to keep walking. It's awesome.
Mhm. Exactly.
Right. Exactly. 2 years ago, when I took over managing the shop, I asked the owner, Mark Hull, where was a good place to eat. He says, just walk anywhere downtown. And so I cut across the alleyway there and finally made my way to the main, to Pine Street there. And I walking down the street, and about three people acknowledged me. Hello, how you doing?
Yeah.
How's your day going? And I, you're not used to that. And I grew up in a small town, and coming here was just phenomenal. It's knowing the people, and even now today more so that I walk down, they recognize me as working here as manager of the Exeter Hobby Shop, and so they recognize me and they say, "Hey, how's it going over there?" It's just kind of a community that really pulls together and helps each other out, and I really enjoy that about this area.
Well, you got to say hi to Mark for us too, because we had fun. He let us go into and film one of the events, and with all the race, because you have an in-road off-road track, right? So it's like you can go in and you're not bugging the neighborhood with all these noises or anything. Everyone's in there, and it's crazy because even when I got my film footage, it was like, this looked like you were at a big event. Like it looked like we're at a stock car race or something. Like by the time I looked at it, I was like, these cars look like real, like big. By the time I was done with it. But
we have a full service shop, and with the track in the back, it just only adds to what we do. We offer every day, 7 days a week, race rentals. You can rent a truck for $10 and get 2 batteries with that. We also offer party packages of various prices, and you get a little bit more with each one, of course. So we have a little party room, got the track out back, so it makes it real enjoyable for anybody, you know, from young girls to young boys, even up to gentlemen and ladies up to their 50s and 60s. I have several customers that are now retired, husband and wife, and they came in over the Christmas break and bought a couple cars, and the wife came in, I think, about 3 weeks after and said she was a little upset because her grandson had broke her car over the holiday, so she needed it fixed so they can go play. So they have their own little setup that they're doing. The grandpa and grandma, that they get upset, so they came out and bought several trucks for their grandkids, so they didn't mess with theirs. So
that's it. Get your hands off my truck.
Yeah, get off me.
Right.
Keep your hands to yourself and off my truck. That's how it goes. All right, so it's time to play 10 questions. We love this. Okay, so it's time to play 10 questions. We've got 3 locals who are going to give us the true insider scoop. And I want to start with Madam Mayor, Teresa. That's it. I love the Madam
Okay.
Mayor. So, Teresa, how long have you lived? I know it's 25 years, you know, the Banks of the Sierras, but how long have you lived in Exeter? And, I mean, some people were born and raised in their towns, or did you come in from another place?
We moved to Exeter in 1989. So 29 years.
Wow.
There are a lot of people who lived here, were born and raised here, so they'll tell me I'm a newcomer.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So what are some of your favorite things about living in Exeter?
Oh, just the small town, no traffic, people, many people, you know, the families, you just hear a family name and you know that that's a long-time family here. People know one another. They come out for things, come to mixers and different gatherings that we have go on. People in Exeter come out for things.
That's cool because that's when you really breed that community connectivity, which is so important that you have those shared values through that. Ben, let's ask you, how long have you been there? Because you said you moved into town. How long have you been in Exeter now?
I've been in the community for about 2 years now, and
you
every
are
day.
A newbie.
Right? Yeah. You know, I grew up in a small town, much just like this one here. I left for 12 years as a Marine. I came back, and this is where I ended up. I'm very blessed to say that I am here because it's just, like I said, a phenomenal community. I feel safe. Let's just say that, you know, when the kids can walk down the street. It reminds me of back when I was in school. My mom worked at a pharmacy, and I stepped 2 feet out of my front door, and she knew it. You know, that was back before cell phones and everything else. So that kind of reminds me of home a little bit, and I really enjoy it here.
I think I love the safety aspect of what you're talking about, and kids being able to walk down the street. I think that's such a huge deal in our country right now, you know. And I want to also, before we move on, say thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you. Sandy, how long have you been in Exeter? I know you're a Hanford girl.
I am. I moved over here when I got married in 79. So I've been here, almost 38 years, I think. I lose track. I moved here about March of 79.
Wow, so we're almost at an anniversary there too for you.
Yeah, but
so,
I'm with Teresa. I'm still a newcomer. Just depends on who you ask. I haven't been here.
Yes.
If you're not here 50 years or more, you're a newcomer.
I think that's so cool. You know, I mean, seriously. But now, okay, so now that you're all settled in, all of you, Madam Mayor, Teresa, I want to ask you, if you had friends or relatives that pop up for a visit and you get to be their tour guide, where would you take them?
I probably would take a drive up Rocky Hill and stop at the top and turn around and look down at our town. It looks like a carpet of different colors of squares, and it's just beautiful. Probably downtown for lunch, maybe in and out of the antique stores. I love to do that.
Cool.
That's nice. I like the antique stores too. That's another big thing for people. People go travel according to antique stores.
Because you can see what the community is like by what antiques are in the stores.
Oh,
that's right.
Well, you can. No, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. And what about you, Ben? You have relatives and friends that pop up. Where would you take them?
Roughly the same. I have some answers here that are kind of written down a little bit before, but what I would do is I think, as you mentioned before, the murals around here are just really, really gorgeous. If you can take anybody around town, they have a map that you can take around and look around at all the the buildings that have all the murals on them. I think that's one of the things I do. And then, of course, take them out for lunch. There's a couple hidden spots here that a lot of people don't know that are off the beaten path that I'd probably take them for lunch there, being that my family does like barbecue. There's a couple little places here that I'd love to take them to.
Cool. You can mention names, everybody. You're allowed to do that. Give them some plugs so people know.
Yeah, we're not like regular.
Well, in that
radio.
case,
please go ahead and if you want to give them a shout out, please do so people know where to go eat.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you get a chance, the next time you guys come in, it's off the beaten path a little bit, further down Pine. It's called the Ranch Hand Cafe. Andy over there does a really, really great job. He prepares his food early in the morning. Everything you got is fresh. From the mac and cheese, coleslaw, all the meats, all the sauces, everything you eat there is fresh from the day. It's not nothing that's cooked the next day before or anything. He prepares everything that day for the day. And it's great, great food.
Right on.
Awesome.
Good to know. Thank you. Okay, so I want to know about...
I need to ask Sandy.
I'm interrupting my mother.
And how dare that happen?
Madam Mayor Teresa, does that give me a thing of like not being allowed into Exeter? Am I allowed to? Can I be pardoned?
Well,
really?
maybe I can arrange that you won't be pulled over.
Oh, good, because I really don't want to be. That's not my thing. That's the only way I want to be pulled over is if I go to Exeter Hobbies and like I crashed in somebody else's little race car thing.
Good. So, Miss Sandy, how about you? And I'm sure we've asked you this before. So,
yes, I would start off with a mural tour. I'd do a personal tour with people. I'd have to refresh my memory on some of the hidden objects because I have forgotten where some of them are located, but it still would be fun to have them all help me find them because that's part of the fun of the murals. And, of course, going to one of our local eateries, like Ben said, the Ranch Hand is fabulous. Just depends on who's with me and what their tastes are, what they would prefer, because we have quite a selection. We have Monet's, we have Cafe Lafayette, we have Wildflower, we have Hometown, lots of Mexican restaurants, pizza, you name it. So we would probably do some antiquing and the murals, because we've added a few antique stores since the last time you've been here, so you will be surprised to see many of those. And then if we have children with us, I'd probably take them over to visit Ben over at Exeter Hobbies, and even the big kids like that too. It doesn't have to be little kids.
Sure.
Big kids like it as well. I don't have the eye-hand coordination for it. I've never even really tried.
That's
it's
part
fun
of
to
the
watch.
Apparently, I can't even keep to a list,
That's part of the fun is watching people that don't have it.
I know, that's the cool thing. I know it's. But they have this one track where these trucks are going up mountains and stuff. It's like that's like fun. I want to do that. That's cool. It's like better for the environment too, and everyone can do it. And come on, Ben, come on, you got to tell me some girls are doing this too, and some ladies are getting in there and down and dirty with the cars and the trucks.
Yes, you would be surprised. I do events in the what you would say the RC rock crawling, just similar to what they do in a 1-to-1. I do in a 10 scale, so I build a vehicle that can go out rock crawling. And so in that community alone, I have several friends and their wives. They go out there, and I've met several women along the way that race. There's a young lady named Kara Hopkins. She's big in the race community. And then there's a lot in the area that the little girls and the young ladies, they come out to race. You know, once Dad does it as a teenager way back when, so he introduces the hobby. What I like to tell other customers, it's either this or the Xbox, and I choose this every day. You know, so a lot of the families are getting involved with it because they get their kids outside in whatever capacity, whether they're doing something with a fast car or a rock crawler or even a drone, you know, just to get somebody outside and enjoy the community a little bit, go out to a park and play with the cars, or even come here, you know. So that's the great aspect of what we do and what we offer as well. You know, we get the kids nowadays, they're so far behind the controller for the Xbox that now we want to put them behind a controller for a car outside.
Yeah, I like that. I think
agree.
that getting outside, get some fresh air, get out there. We're actually with people and not in a dark room with that video thing and getting all, you know, there's
all
so many
yourself.
screens. And then next thing you know, they're in front of a TV screen. And then it's like from screen to screen to screen. And then as they get older and get into business, it's going to be another screen. So we have to unscreen ourselves. I like that. So now I'm finally get to my question because it's one of my favorites. Fun facts and hidden treasures. What are some things people may not know about Exeter? So, Madam Mayor Teresa.
Exeter is the citrus capital of the world. We have 31 beautiful murals and a mural store. I don't know if you ladies have had the pleasure of hearing our noon siren, but we have an old World War II era siren that blows each day at noon. For decades it's done this. It used to let the field workers and the packing houses know when it was lunchtime, and this whistle still blows at noon each day. One of our murals that's on the side of Exeter Meats, the mural, there's cattle. There's pictures of cattle on the side of the mural. If you stand at one end of the building, the cattle are all looking at you. And then if you walk down the sidewalk and go to the other end of the building, the cattle all turn their head and they're looking at you at that end now. That's one of my favorite murals. Yes, it is.
That's crazy. I know which one you're talking about, too, but, you know, I think, oh, man, I'm going to go look at all my photos I took now.
You have to look at that.
That's a whole new thing. That's a whole
new
thing, and I
love
that
heads.
siren.
Yes, the cattle turn their heads, and they follow you down the sidewalk.
That's crazy. Okay, everybody and you have to do it after you go to the Stag cocktail bar, and then do it. Yeah, you have to do it. Go to the Stag first, and then go hang out with the cattle. But that siren, I love that siren. We've talked about it on shows with Sandy before, and I mean, even doing radio shows, it's like our radio show will start at 11. Our Champagne Sundays we've done in the conference room at the Chamber Building, and we're like, here it goes. Like, do we play music? It's like, too bad we're at Exeter. You need to hear how Exeter sounds. Woohoo! You know, it's super cool. Ben, what is a fun fact and hidden treasure that you've discovered having been there over 2 years now?
Well, there's a little cool museum that we have here. Of course, we have a really, really, really great hobby shop. And then, of course, going back and not over to the Stag, but we have Rocky Hill Brewing, which very, very, very good. Yes.
Oh. Sandy,
so, yes.
I think you didn't tell us about that. I think you mentioned something was coming on, but I mean, I didn't know there was a brewery in Exeter now. I mean,
we have a new tap room too.
Oh, excuse me. Like,
yes,
we're
late.
It
just opened like a couple of months ago. It's called Rockyard Tavern, and they actually do serve Rocky Hill Brewing beer there. So, but they do have a tasting it's out in the country. Actually, it's like a country block from my house, so it's really easy to get to Rocky Hill Brewing. But the Rockyard Tavern's right here in downtown. So it's pretty fun.
Like we need to speed up our plans to come back. Just saying. I think that is it's so interesting to hear all these changes. I love this. But Sandy, what is one of your fun facts and hidden treasures?
Well, like I touched on before, our murals have hidden objects in them. Some are easy to see, some are not so easy to see, and it just adds another layer of interest to our murals. And we are painting a new one right now, a small mural, but we're getting a new one, so we'll have 32 coming up. And as Teresa mentioned, we're unofficially the citrus capital of the world. I don't think we've ever been officially given that title, but we claim it anyway.
Take it. Take it.
Yes, and we'll take it, yes. And then many years ago, Exeter was well known for their cow chip throwing contest.
Oh, my gosh. Here we go. Now we're getting into the good and dirty stuff that I love.
It was a big deal. It was a big deal. It was very competitive. You had to pick out just the right cow chip. And, yes, and it is dried cow pies is what they throw. Yeah, it was during our fall festival, and they would do it in the street in front of the school there. They'd do it on D Street, and whoever threw it the farthest, I think there was a woman, I think a female winner and a male winner, but they got a gold, spray-painted gold cow chip trophy.
We need this as an emoji.
I love that.
We need the Exeter Gold, and that's what it should be called. And I hope you bring it back at one of your annual events, because I know you have big festivals.
We've tried to revive it. I think we had FFA tried to do it once. It just didn't, excuse the pun, fly anymore. It just didn't seem to be. People didn't know what it was. But,
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's so much fun. We did that in South Africa. We used to, like cow chip bingo.
We used to just throw them at each other.
Yeah, and that's what happens. You'd go to the stag, and then after that, next thing you know, you're in the barn throwing cow chips. But anyway,
Yeah, but it was really fun. Everyone, it was a big competition. I mean, there were people that come back every year to defend their title. I think I just saw it a little bit when I first moved here to Exeter, and it hasn't been here as long as I've been with the chamber. We haven't done it, but it's just a part of our history, and I think there's still some people around that have a couple of the trophies. But yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, I think that's fun. Too bad you can't get it back there.
Yeah.
I think it's
I think it's good for kids to get their hands on the cow chips, but
okay.
Now going into a whole other direction, the next thing is clean-handed, I suppose.
I know.
Well,
okay, so now let's start with Miss Mayor. Teresa, if you were going to recommend to somebody for date night, I love this question because it does put it on a new kind of level. Where would you recommend, because how many people would ask you, where shall I take my date on date night? Where would you recommend they do that? Mm-hmm.
I think my husband and I, we probably would stop downtown at the Rock Yard Tavern and maybe have one of their craft beers, and then maybe walk around downtown to one of the fabulous restaurants downtown, maybe, I don't know, for pizza or for Mexican food, or even to Monet's for wine, or and all the while probably keeping an eye out for a painted rock hidden somewhere downtown by someone from our rock group. We have a rock group, and they're called Exeter Rocks on Facebook, and people paint rocks and hide them downtown so that maybe visitors can be walking along and find a beautiful painted rock.
Hey, that's cool. I want to do that. That's cool.
Yes,
that's neat. It's kind of like geocaching, but it rocks. No offense to geocaching.
And you can keep it, or you can re-hide it, but they just ask you to take a picture. It's usually painted on the back of the rock, the Facebook page, and you can they ask you to take a picture and post it on there where you found it, and then if you want to re-hide it, you can, or just keep it.
How smart is that?
Dude, this is
I love this.
Exeter is becoming the find it.
Treasure hunt after you've had a craft brew. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Treasure hunting is cool, and I know a lot of communities are getting into doing that because it's kind of like Okay, there's like, and making it like a painted rock. It's art involved. I love that, and it's cool for all ages. That's super cool.
And the Facebook page is Exeter Rocks with an exclamation point.
Okay, I want to join for when we come up because I want to do it.
Paint a rock and put it there.
I want to do it. Exeter Rocks exclamation point. Everybody on Facebook, go do that.
That's really cool. Okay, Ben, same question to you.
We have to have a dude's opinion.
Yeah, because it might be different. Where do you think's a good place to take a date? What's your date night?
Well, I'm what do they call, a hopeless romantic, so I'm looking probably maybe to Taco Man, McDonald's, someplace like that. I'm a big spender. No, as the mayor said, downtown, a walk downtown, maybe stop for a cocktail somewhere. And there's so many fine eateries downtown that you have plenty to choose from. And just, a nice walk. We forget what it's like to get on our feet and go do things like that. And just that little walk where you can get to know each other, talk, have conversation without interruption. And you can look for that rock or, have drinks somewhere. Like I said, just find a nice quiet place, have a nice dinner, and that's what I would enjoy. At least tell somebody anyway to enjoy the community that way.
Would you hold hands?
Oh, you got to hold hands.
Oh, you have to. You'd have to. You got to be a complete gentleman. I was always taught you walk. The gentleman walks on the side of the where the road is. I think that's in case you can, when you make your partner upset, she can push you closer off the curb and you can get hit.
I thought it was so that you could be a buffer between the car and a possible accident.
Well, I do that with other cars, depending when we're driving too. It's like, okay, you need to go there because there's a truck coming. But no,
funny. But I like that.
I broke up with someone on their lack of hand-holding skills.
Well, all right.
Really?
Because you can't. Look, it's like no. There's levels and you have to go through the steps. You can't just go from A to Z. And you start at A, and you need to move up that ladder. And the A needs to always stick around. Holding hands is one of the the first things, and one of the things that continues through life, even as married couples. And if you lose the A, you're never getting the Z again. Just saying.
Well, as children, when we were younger, being in kindergarten and first grade, I remember getting to hold a girl's hand, and that was a big thing. And now you see some of the young adults, and they're walking around, and they're not
with a cell
showing
phone.
any affection. Yeah, they're showing more. They're actually probably, as they're walking in the mall or down the street, they're probably texting each other.
Exactly.
We've lost a lot of that, and I love the old black and white movies for that reason, because if you look at a lot of the old actors and actresses and some of the way they portray themselves in movies, you can see a lot of that old, holding the hands and being courteous and being a gentleman and doing all this stuff, and we've lost a lot of that, and and you see it actually. Just yesterday, I was eating at the Chinese food place, and I looked across, and there is a shop across the street, and a couple, both probably in their mid-60s, they were holding hands as they walked in, and as they got out, she walked down the steps. He waited for her and held her hand down the road, and I thought that was one of the neatest things I've seen in a long time. But it took an elderly couple for me to see that. You don't see that with these young adults now.
You want to go up to them, take their phones away, and go, "You've lost that love and feeling."
Right.
That's exactly it,
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
And it's true, Exeter is romantic because you feel safe. And people are friendly, and so you can hold hands.
And walking downtown with all the brick buildings and the murals, and
That's cool. So, Sandy.
Yeah, you're not off the hook.
Yeah, you're not off the hook.
I thought they did a great
Chamber
job.
Executive Director.
Yeah,
what are you doing on date night?
What about date night for you?
Oh, date night for me is to go out to dinner. I love to go out to eat anytime, but going out to dinner to one of our nicer restaurants. I usually hit some of the others during lunchtime and stuff, so I like to go to a little nicer restaurant, and we have a couple of those in town. And then just stroll leisurely downtown. Like Teresa said, the rock thing is really popular. People are really getting into that, and so it's a local resident started it, and it's just taken off like wildfire. And some of the rocks are gorgeous too. There's some really good artists. So you never know where you might run across one of those, and so that's always kind of exciting when you find one. And then probably stop off at one of our restaurants and have a nice dessert after the stroll. And sometimes on Friday and Saturday night you might find some live music in a couple of the restaurants. So we might sit and have dessert and maybe a little glass of wine and listen to some music. Just like something leisure.
Yeah. Calm.
That. So now we're going to move from date night to we're going to go on a picnic.
Yay! I love
because
picnics.
We like picnics. So
picnics rock.
I know. So, but we want to fill our picnic basket with local food and drink. So, Miss Mayor, where would you go on a picnic, and what would you put in your picnic basket?
I probably would get a sandwich or a wrap from Hometown Emporium or the Lunchbox with a side salad and pickle and cookie, of course. And maybe sit on the grass over at Mixter Park and listen to the water flowing in the fountain. Sit in the grass on a blanket. So that just sounds like a fun picnic to me.
Awesome.
And Hometown Emporium. I love their cookies and their wraps. Those cookies, seriously, I need to come back just for that. I mean, you got some good baking going on in Exeter, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So, Ben, what about you? What's in your picnic basket, and where are you going to go?
Well, I think I would talk to Andy over at the ranch and have him whip me up something special, couple of meats, some coleslaw, stuff like that. Maybe take a trip up Rocky Hill and sit up at the top and just kind of take in the view in the moment, and probably have maybe a couple of small drinks, nothing too big. Just enjoy ourselves, have a good conversation. I think that's a lot of it. But to keep the cell phones in the car and just get to know each other.
It's cool to be outside.
Man, I'm seeing that Exeter is an unplugged destination.
I know.
And as you're taking photos of the murals and the photos and posting them on Instagram and Facebook so everybody knows.
I wonder if people ever find themselves hidden in one of those murals.
I know.
Like, Sandy, have you found yourself hidden in a mural yet?
No, just Walter.
Yeah, Walter's in one.
How do you know? You might not appear in there.
Yeah.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
But so, Sandy, what about you for a picnic? What kind of food and drink would you take, and what spot would you like? Unless you're going to sit in front of a mural while you're in it.
Well, it's funny how you can take pictures in front of some of the murals, and you can be kind of deceptive. It can look like you're in the mural. So it's kind of fun. There's a couple of them that are ground level, and you can do that pretty easily. Cool. I'd probably start with some sandwiches from Hometown and get some gourmet snacks and some local milk and maybe a great bottle of wine from East Street Market, which is a new business in town, and they carry all kinds of local cheeses, crackers, honey. They're adding things all the time, and it's kind of what they're calling themselves like a farmer's market type market.
Nice.
And so you can go in and find lots of things that are made not necessarily right in Exeter, but in our county, because we don't have everything produced here, but we have quite a bit. And it's just a really nice little store. So I would probably go see them, and then maybe get some lemon cookies from Wildflower Cafe. Their lemon cookies are to die for. And then maybe a slice of lavender cheesecake from Monet's. Yeah, it's really good too. So anyway, and then probably go up
You're
if
killing
it's late.
me.
I know.
I'm like the lavender cheesecake. I'm just thinking.
It really is good.
Buttery Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio with it. Sorry.
And then would probably go up, if not right here in town, if it was late spring or early summer, maybe rent a houseboat up at Quia Lake and take all our goodies up there and just float around on the lake. But if it's not that good a time, then we might want to just stay right here. We've got lots of parks, lots of really neat parks. Our city parks got lots of big trees. So, yeah, there's lots of places in town that you can have just a really quiet picnic if you would like.
Man, this
I
is
vote for
so
the
cool.
houseboat.
The floating houseboat is super cool. Like I've never been on a houseboat, and I want to. And when I saw that, I remember filming out there, and I'm like, oh, there's a houseboat. I want to be on one. I want to be on that, and that just seems like such a nice, lazy afternoon to me. It's just someone else has to do the steering, not me. That's not good. That's not a good idea.
It doesn't even have to move for me.
I know. I don't care. Like I can make things move on my own. But So I want to talk about walking. I know you've all talked about walking downtown, but there's neighborhoods. There's I know you've got the Sequoias in your backyard. You've got Quia Oaks Preserve. I mean, you've got a lot of places, all kinds of parks. But I want to know if you could take a 1-hour walk with anyone, alive or passed on. Who would it be, and where are you walking? And this is about, do you want to get, advice from someone, or is it someone from your past or someone now? Just taking that walk, because walks are great conversations. This is all stemmed from, I got to do our Facebook group, 1-hour walk, hashtag 1-hour walk, to get people outside, to throw the cell phone away like we've been talking about on this show the whole time with you, is just to get out and observe things like rocks and flowers and plants and bugs and understand the seasons of your community or understand a destination that you're going to. So let's start with you, Madam Mayor Teresa. Nancy calls you Miss Mayor, so you're Madam and Miss. So, you go, girl.
I think that I would want to take a walk with my dad. He passed away in 1993. Before I became active in the community, before I started volunteering with the chamber and the city, and he would be very proud that I'm the mayor now, and that I've been on the city council for 9 years. I would like to walk him around this town that I have called home for 29 years. He's never been to Exeter, and I would love to show him around. But I think that would be my dad.
How much fun would that be?
How nice to kind of have that reflective moment and moving forward,
love
too.
It.
That's awesome. Now, Ben, where are you taking a 1-hour walk? Are you taking a drone with you, too?
Possibly. I think the mayor and I have a similar outlook on this. My dad passed away in 2000 while I was in the military, and the Sunday before he passed, he had called, and I was out golfing, and I didn't return his call. I just thought it was another call. He called me every week and just wanted to talk, and I think I'd love to take that walk with him and find out what he wanted to tell me that day, because he passed away 4 days later. And so I would probably want just total silence, just him and I in the moment, and just walk through deep into one of the orchards where we can just have that last conversation.
Oh, one of the orchards in the area, because there is something about that too. Because you go in rows, and it's still something different, and there's that silence. I get what you're. I'm sorry for your loss.
For sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's hard. Sandy, what about you? Where are you strutting?
Well, I think I would like to meet up with Carl Schutz. He is a gentleman from Chemainus, British Columbia, that came out, and the city hired him to do a 3 or 4 day workshop on how to start the murals, because he had a successful mural program in Chemainus, he was kind of the guru at the time, and he came out and just taught the committee how to go about all the legal parts of it and the easements and the contracts and just the nuts and bolts of doing a successful mural program. And I think that's why Exeter has been successful with our murals, is because we had the good groundwork, and ours are fashioned from their example, because they had similar issues as Exeter, kind of dying on the vine. They're downtown, and so they created this, and now they're a booming tourist attraction, and that's what we had hoped would happen here. And thank goodness the city council at that time felt it was an investment worth pursuing, and it has been one of the best things ever for our community. I remember from the beginning, I was here before they started, and it's been really good. And I understand he's still alive. We had some visitors from Chemainus here last summer, and they said, "Oh, we're from a mural town too," and then they had no idea that we had, we knew all about them. And they said, "Oh, Carl's still alive." And I'm saying, "Oh, good." So I sent one of our magazines, and I would just love for him to come and see how successful we've been, and it was a lot due to him.
Oh,
that's awesome.
So I'm imagining you're going on the mural walk, right?
Showing him all around town, to show him how we've grown and how his advice and guidance had helped us.
That's awesome, and such a good story.
That's good to know.
And with everything that we're doing with our new tourism and hospitality section, you have to come on another show on that, Sandy, because it's something that is such a great example what Exeter does. And I think other communities can look at what Exeter has done and is doing and continuing to do, and in such a good footprint, in other words, a light footprint where you're not. You have a good balance between tourism and people living in the community, and I think that's such an important thing, because that way everyone benefits. The visitor, the community benefits, someone who's living there, and I know that's not always easy to achieve. And so you guys, you have such a good example. You really do. And you remind us about what small town America is. You remind us about the quality of life, and that is key. And I think that's something that in tourism doesn't get talked about all the time. It's like, oh, we're going to do this attraction, going to see that. But when you go to a place like Exeter, you're reminded of quality of life. Everything the three of you have been talking about on the show is quality of life, where you can take that fresh breath of air and go, hey, let's take a walk and just sit and talk and have those moments. And, I just think that's an amazing thing.
I know. I love it because you feel safe and you don't feel rushed.
Yeah.
And it's
real.
so important now because the one thing that, as this world turns, we feel less of is safe and having time.
And stress-free. So I think you guys do so much. It's amazing. Okay, so my next question is, it's always fun to learn a new trade or skill. So, the thing is, you look around Exeter, if you could jump in someone else's business for a day and just take it over for fun, just to learn something new, or do you want to do something completely new and different, a new career for a day? Just for a day. We all know that you love what you do. It's just about swapping out for a day so you can learn a new skill. So let's start with you, Madam Mayor, because, look what you're doing. You're banking. You know what I mean? So
I think that I'm fascinated with the different service club organizations we have in our town, and we have Kiwanis and the Lions Club and the Women's Club, the Eagles Lodge. I haven't joined a lot of those. I've been busy with other things, but my goal is to one day be part of each of the service clubs, maybe volunteer at the Pink Ladies Thrift Store, or the Exeter Eagles Ladies Auxiliary, and go on their trips to Ronald McDonald House to help raise money for Ronald McDonald House. And they just do so many good things, all of our service clubs. And I think that I would just like to be part of all of the service clubs.
Nice.
Cool.
And obviously with you being mayor and what you're doing, I think that's That's commendable, and hopefully you'll get to that point where you have the time to be able to do that. What about you, Ben?
Well, to be honest, I manage the shop here, but I think I'd like to do exactly what I'm doing. I enjoy every bit of it, and to be in probably Mark's shoes for a day, to see if you know Mark, his the way he carries himself around here in the community is infectious. He greets everybody as if they were family, and I enjoy that. I think that's what drew me to him and to how this business is growing. And so, like I tell a lot of people, I said that, even the new kids that I've hired here, and tell them to pay attention to what we do. It's not just a hobby shop. It's not just a store. It's what we're doing for the community. We're providing an atmosphere. And Mark has shown me that, when people come in the door, he's often given a hug or, a greeting in which you're not accustomed to. And I think it's a testament to what this area is like here. And so, like I said, his mannerisms are infectious to me, because when people come in here, I try to greet them the same way, and I like that. So I think doing what I'm doing now, and maybe in a different capacity, I think that's what I'd like to do. I'd just like to be in Mark's shoes for one day, kind of relieve him, if you will, because he does get a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails. But I'd like to see what he goes through in a day and how he keeps that same demeanor every day,
Awesome. I've never had anyone say, I'm going to jump in my boss's shoes. That's cool. That's smart, too. I mean, it is. It's like, how did you build this? I remember, Sandy, when we went to Exeter, I think it was the second time or third time that we'd been through, Sandy, and met Mark and had fun there. And
that was way fun.
It's like it's so cool to see the business still flourish,
Yeah.
and watch it, grow. And I know he's been on the show with us, too. And he was just so personable and so community-minded, just like you're saying, Ben.
Yes.
And it was like, we didn't know anything about all these kinds of toys, because it's like this cool toy
really
store,
fun.
man. And he was so cool. We took Priscilla, our pink sock monkey, and Walter, when Walter was going around as an ambassador, as a cutout cat, and Walter and Priscilla, we had all these photos of Exeter hobbies, and he was so cool. Like Priscilla, our little sock monkey, she's our travel mascot, could go in any, like,
he let us play dolls.
Yeah, we played dolls with, and it was so much fun, and he was just so, like, have fun with it, and that's the thing. It's like, it is about getting into a community and having that integrity and truth to what you're doing. You don't just go into a community to say, oh, I'm going to come in here and open a business and make money, and that's how it's going to be. That's not how it works. And you have to have that vision and the truth and the authenticity behind it. And I think you're right about that. He definitely has that, just from the short time we've been there. It's something that, it's like we never forgot Exeter hobbies,
Well, that's
we
great.
had so
Yeah,
much fun there.
Yeah, you don't forget it. So that's a good statement on that. Sandy,
Yes.
okay, no chamber day for you. Like what's new?
No. Piggybacking on Ben, my thought was I'd like to go and learn about the drone side of Exeter Hobbies. I want to learn more about. I know it has a different name than Exeter Hobbies, but he has gotten very big in the drone world, and he's a photographer as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the last couple of years he's done a lot of photography work for our Experience Exeter magazine, and he's just so generous with his time. But I'd like to learn about the drones. They're fascinating to me, so I would want to learn. I think that's where he is now. He's taking a drone down to L.A. Police Department, I believe, and so he is getting very well known in the world of drones. And I know he's got all kinds of certifications and licenses, and he's told me, but they don't the details don't stick because it's so unfamiliar to me. But I'd love to learn more about that end of the business and try it out. I'd like to try to fly one. I've never tried, but again, I don't have eye-hand coordination, so that might be an issue. I may just crash
It's a huge deal in photography for everything. I know that photography and film work, it's such a huge, huge deal. And I remember talking to him about that, and when he was, getting into it, he was like, I go here, I go do this, I go do that, and it's like, this is super cool. This is cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Nancy, it's your time to be the drill master of questions.
Okay, so now, going to Miss Mayor, Teresa.
Yes.
Okay, what is the event that happens in your area that you really have to be at, you cannot miss because you love it so much?
It has to be our fall festival celebration in October. The parade and the day in the park and all of the vendors is just such a fun time. The whole week is fun, and I never miss that.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's an old event, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ben, what about you?
Well, for the past few years, every event that I've been to was great. We often set up a little track for the kids and adults so they can drive the cars around a little bit, kind of introduce them to the hobby. But every time I've gone out, it's like I said, the community is just very family orientated. Everybody's out there. And it's great. Like the mayor said, the fall festival was a great time. There are little vendors out there, and we're out there. Kids are out there running around. They're playing in the park on bounce houses. So every event that I've been to just really, really been great, and always get a lot of good feedback from a lot of the people I usually tell that come in that are not from the area. And I always tell them, I said, hey, you get a chance, drive up to Exeter, come visit us during one of these events, and you will not be disappointed. And a lot of them have, and a lot of them have really enjoyed themselves as well.
Yeah, because you get to be a kid, and we all want that. What about you, Sandy? What's your best event?
I have to say this, probably the fall festival. I attended it before I started the chamber, and now I know all that goes into planning something of this magnitude. It's a huge undertaking, and so I have a new appreciation for it, but the community just loves it, and that just makes it so worth it. Because there's a lot of work that goes in, lots of volunteer time, and but the community looks forward. They love it. We've added the Scarecrow contest for the month of October. We've have a car show that's part of it now, and last year we added an antique and collectibles fair to the event to help bring, people more downtown so they're not all just stay down at the park, so our businesses get a little bit of recognition as well. But it's a fun day. When my children were young, at that time we had a carnival that was part of it, and I'd take them and they'd go on the carnival rides, and they'd participate in the lip sync contest, and
cool.
There's lots and lots of facets to that. Of course, the Miss Exeter program, and just get to know those fabulous young ladies in high school that all you hear is the bad news about the kids. And let me tell you, we have some girls that come through that program, and I'm just so proud every year. I think, oh, this is the best group yet, and then the next group comes along and they're good too. So, yeah, it's a very proud time for the chamber that we are able to do this for the community, and that, of course, we don't do it alone. Lots of volunteers, and of course, the city staff has to help, with the road closures and the cleanup and all that fun stuff. They do a lot of the grunt work, and we get the glory. So it's a fun time.
Right on. I know.
Cool.
And scarecrows are involved too.
I love that. I love the scarecrow thing. Okay, so next question. I'm going to give you a blank check.
Actually, Priscilla, our pink sock monkey, is the one who has the,
so
she's a travel mascot, and she has the money.
It's more of a
she
banana
runs the company.
check.
Yeah. And we're talking to, a bank lady here.
So Teresa, I'm going to give you a blank banana check for you to plan.
Don't look at our Social Security numbers.
Right, so that you can plan the ultimate party. What kind of party would you throw, and where would it be?
I think it would be downtown at our museum and art gallery. On the second floor, they have a party room, and it's the tallest building around in Exeter, and and has a good view. And I probably would have a party there, catered by maybe Hometown Emporium or Monet's or one of our restaurants downtown. But yes, my party would be in the above the museum in the party room up there.
And what kind of theme? What kind of party?
Theme?
Yeah, what are you celebrating? What are you
like a New Year's type party. Just celebrate time and lots of lights and sparkles.
Alrighty. Right on. Okay, over to you, Ben. Same question. What kind of party? And I'm going to give you the money or banana.
Banana money.
Banana money. What kind of party and where would you hold it?
Well, I think I'd probably do it here. I've always wanted to do this. Mark and I have discussed it on several occasions, just never really pulled the trigger on it. But I like to have like an adult night, or even not even have to be an adult night, but like even like for the young adults here, maybe open up the business, bring in some catering, some drinks, race around the cars, maybe some music, because we do have a large area in the back where the track is. We do have a party room with some games and tables, so we can set some stuff up here. And I think that's what I do. I just, be it if it's an adult party, I'll bring in some microbreweries, get some catering in, maybe from different businesses here, some of the eateries here, some barbecue, some sandwiches, some pizza, just, laid back, everybody have fun, get to race the cars, and just have an enjoyable time, and I could do that for adults and the young adults here in town. And that's something probably in the near future I'm thinking of doing, maybe a Friday or Saturday night once a month for the young adults, of course, and then for the adults, well, they can walk back and forth from here in the Stag, so we're only a block away.
All right, on. That's funny. Okay, Sandy, what about you?
I would like to do a taste of Exeter.
Ooh.
And get all the food from all the different restaurants downtown, because you can't go wrong with having food from any one of our places. I mean, from the simplest to the most extravagant. And I'd love to put one large, not maybe one large table, but all the tables end to end and all the way down East Street there in front of Mixter Park, and everyone just sit down and together and just have a taste of Exeter, experience all that there is to have here, and just celebrate where we're from and a lot of the local fruits and vegetables that they use, and just, I mean, we're in the heart of agriculture. I mean, we have beef cattle to all kinds of fruits and vegetables, so we grow it all right here, so why not celebrate that?
That sounds like a good festival.
I love it.
I like that.
I love it. That's cool. So I'm all down for that, because I know some of your food, and the Mexican food there is some of the best ever.
Oh yeah.
So just saying, and we live on the border, and I'm just saying you got to go to Central Cal. We've got to. I mean, our area. I'm not knocking our area. Tucson's got we got the gastronomy capital of the world, so can't knock that at all, because we do. But I mean, some of the Mexican food in your area is so good, and just the local food, because it's picked there. It's, if you're going to have cheese, get it there, because it's there. It's from there. I mean, there's just amazing, amazing food, and, regional wines, and, I mean, it's just so amazing. And then you've got the Sequoia National Park to hang out in, so just amazing. So my last thing is, I want each of you to finish this sentence. I'm proud of my community because. And so let's start with you, Madam Mayor Teresa Boyce. I'm proud of my community because.
Well, I would have to say because of the people here. We have so many volunteers and helpers who show up for things. When Sandy needs help with the chamber for an event, people show up to help her. They show show up to help set up and help clean up. The people in Exeter just care about the community, and that's what I'm most proud of.
Even a cat showed up.
I know, Mr. Walter. You can't miss out Mr. Walter.
Yeah, I
so
think
Ben,
he's not so much help.
No, yeah, he likes to steal your champagne when you're doing a radio show and the sirens going off at the same time. I love doing radio shows in Exeter because you never know, and a train could go by too. And you guys have such an old building there, and you've got an old safe, and it's like you're sitting in history and doing this show. It's so amazing. It's like
awesome.
There's nothing like it.
That little paw comes under the door, pulling the wires.
I know. Like, this is such a great show. I hope we can stay on air, but it's like you cannot beat doing that. Ben, please finish the sentence. I'm proud of my community because.
I think I had mentioned this earlier. It all started that first day I came to work here, and I walked down that street, and I was greeted as if I lived here forever, and that hasn't changed. I think the sense of family, the values this community holds for each other, and you know, anybody who walks down the street, you, like I said, you feel safe. So I really like that about this area. I really do. It's really, really sets it away from anywhere else I've been. And I've traveled from anywhere from Norway into Alaska to Asia, and you never see this. When you walk down the street and people greet you as if they've known you, it makes you feel good about where you're at. It really does.
For sure.
That's awesome. We understand.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We totally get it.
We totally do. And Sandy, I'm proud of my community because.
I have to just ditto what they're saying, the tremendous generosity of all the people here, not only with their time but with their money. When I'm still so proud of last year when we wanted new Christmas decorations, and one of our residents, Joanne, you met her on one of the mural tours, and she went out and she started asking people for money, and we were able to raise $18,000 to buy new Christmas decorations in like a month and a half.
For the town. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it just,
that's really
that's
awesome.
what I'm talking about. I mean, the generosity of these, the businesses, individuals, it was phenomenal, because she wanted the downtown to look pretty, and she did it again to add some garland to the light poles this year, lights and garland. To make them look more pretty, and she even put a pretty chunk of her own money into that because she wanted it so badly. I mean, these people here are just amazing, and every time they come through, and I just couldn't be more proud.
We've, our joy as visitors to your community has been that we've received that welcomeness, that hospitality, and I mean, it's like you guys have the signature stamp of hospitality. It's been amazing. We can't wait to come back, and we appreciate all three of you joining us for the show today and sharing your community story, because it is an amazing place. Everyone, you can go to cityofexeter.com. Mayor Teresa Boyce is there. You can go down to the
Yes, I am.
Also, for Exeter Hobbies, we've talked a lot about that. Go to exeterhobbies.com. And for everything to do with Exeter, go to exeterchamber.com. We also cover events, and you can find out a lot of our different stories on the region if you go to nationalparktraveling.com. But we want to thank you, all three of you, for joining us. We appreciate your time and for sharing. And we have a little special Hollywood history segment we're going to air now from Steve Schneikert from back when we were visiting you, Sandy, back in 2013. So we went back into the vault because you have a big vault in your office. It's not like I don't want people to rob you. Like you got that old school safe though, like that old It was was it an
storage?
Old bank?
There's no money in there. It's just
There's
storage.
no money. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. But thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Here it is, everyone. Some Hollywood history of Exeter.
Situated in the middle of California's agricultural heartland, the Great San Joaquin Valley, one of the world's most fertile valleys, Exeter is known for the sweetest supply of citrus, delicious fruits, nuts, and table grapes. The area has scenic beauty and is 30 minutes from the entrance to Sequoia National Park. During the Depression, large numbers of migrants from Oklahoma and Arkansas settled in the city. When you wish upon a star, la-da-dee-dee, dee-dee-da. I left in love, in laughter, and in truth. And wherever truth, love, and laughter abide, I am there in spirit. The Grapes of Wrath, 1940, is director John Ford's most famous black and white epic drama, the classic adaptation of John Steinbeck's 1940 Pulitzer Prize-winning, widely read 1939 novel. Steinbeck was also cited prominently when he won the Nobel Prize in 1962. The title of the novel and film comes from a lyric of the Battle Hymn of the Republic by Julia Ward Howe. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. This film was the most popular left-leaning socialistic theme film of pre-World War II Hollywood. On the screen, the film honestly and realistically recreates the socioeconomic impact of the Great Depression and a mid-30s drought upon one representative family, the Joads. Its theme of an oppressed people's epic move to a new home parallels the biblical story of Exodus. This land is mine, God gave this land to me. Their family name, Jode, also evokes the biblical character of Job. Nunnally Johnson's screenplay is remarkably faithful to its Steinbeck source material. Not present in the novel or the screenplay is a tacked-on ending in the film that optimistically and sentimentally affirms the strength and human dignity of the individual spirit. Fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of. The plight of the Jode family is universalized as a microcosm of the thousands of other tenant farmers during the country's time of crisis who suffered from oppression imposed by the banks and big mechanized farm interests. The dispossessed migrant families' departure from their windy and dusty land and their slow disintegration provides insight into the thousands of Oklahoma, Colorado, Texas Panhandle, and western Kansas families who were evicted and uprooted from their Dust Bowl farmland and forced to search westward in the inhospitable Eden of California for jobs and survival with thousands of other migrant workers. Filmed in journalistic, documentary-style black and white textures with some low-key lighting, which is provided by a candle or low-light source, is beautifully captured by Greg Toland's expert cinematography. The picture records an astute realism of rural America in the 30s. The musical score by Alfred Newman used variations of Red River Valley to give the film added flavor. Jane Darwell as Ma Jode is marvelous as a strong center and backbone of the migratory family that must leave its ancestral land. And Henry Fonda as Tom Jode is magnificent as an unmercifully harassed Okie who refuses to be beaten and crushed by misfortune. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. The film's themes include the central importance of the family, the suffering and oppression of the farmers, the hollowness of the American dream, the display of human dignity and spirit in the face of adversity, and issues of social and economic justice. Original casting for the film called for Beulah Bondi as Ma Jode. La-da-dee-dee-dee-dee, la-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, la-da-dee-dee-dee-dee, la-da-dee-dee-dee-dee. James Stewart as Al. Oh, Shenandoah, how much I love you, every stream and every valley. And Walter Brennan as Pa Jode. I want you to meet the family that's known as the real McCoys. There were a total of 7 Academy Award nominations for the film, with 2 wins. Best Supporting Actress Jane Darwell and Best Director John Ford. The other 5 nominations were Best Picture, Best Actor Henry Fonda in one of his greatest roles, Best Screenplay, Best Sound Recording, and Best Film Editing. Thank you, Mr. Steinbeck, for your novel and the inspiration for this film. I am Steve Schneikert, and this is Hollywood History as I recall it.